Good evening, everybody. It's the 11th of February on this second day of thawing out, which I think everyone's probably excited about. I know I am. And this is the Hillbilly Think Tank. This is Spencer Kett coming at you live from Tunnel Hills. And I am the educated hillbilly. No, that's not an oxymoron. Don't call me a moron. I am coming at you, like I said, live from Tunnel Hills, where we live for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And we believe that service is one of the highest callings in life, and that nothing is better for the soul than taking care of our neighbors with love and care and respect and honor. Now, I've got with me tonight Dr. Laquita, and I will let her introduce herself. She is a candidate for office here in Hardin County, also, where I'm running for Magistrate District 3 in Hardin County. And Dr. Laquita, I'll let you take it over. Tell everybody about yourself.
Yes, hi, thank you, Spencer. So as you said, I am a doctor. I'm working naturopathic, the naturopathic field. I specialize in holistic herbs and remedies to help mitigate trauma to the organs. So that's my passion and my profession. I'm also a minister at St. Stephen's Baptist Church in Radcliffe, Kentucky, and I serve there on the staff there as well at the church. So anybody need services in our community when it comes down to spiritual, I'm there Monday through Thursday, probably 12 to 2 most days. Reach out to me and I will be glad to assist you in any way I can. Also, as he stated, I'm running from Radcliffe City Council. I'm number 1 on the ballot. My platform is education, infrastructure, and also health and the youth, the children in our community. I'm very passionate about those things, and I would like to bring insight to the city council in our community to help with those initiatives and help keep them growing. I love my city. I love the mayor we have now. This is his last tenure because he's going into another area in the government. And so
Well, hopefully he'll be the judge executive, right?
yes, the judge executive. So vote. Check JJ Duvall. But yes, and then 6 seats available on the council, and I would just like to ask for your vote for one of those seats because I feel and I know that I can bring some new insights that the city really need to help grow our city. And yes, the weather was good today in our town, and I hope everybody enjoyed some sunshine. And that's enough about me.
Well, real quick here, our topic tonight is today the House passed a bill to end Trump's tariffs on Canada.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm wondering, is this a little bit too late or will this work? Real quick, though, let's give a little shout out here to one of my students, Ding Black. He says, "Hey, how you doing, Ding?" Now, Doc, my platform is also, I want us to have a robust and regenerative infrastructure. Here in
Yes.
Hardin County, we need it. We need it, of course, nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
I talked last night about we have about 3,000, I think 300 decaying or outdated bridges, all over the state. That's dangerous for folks to drive on. Well, we
Yes.
know, that Hardin County has been renewing the roads, especially around, my house. We're just getting ready to widen Shepherdsville Road, which goes from Ring Road all the way to Battle Training Road. That's going to be wonderful because when I finally moved back to Kentucky, I lived in Montana for a bit, working for the VA out there after I retired from the military. Came back in 21. Now out there in the Big Sky State, you got a lot of rural areas just like here, but you could be on a 20, 30 mile dirt road, literally a gravel road, actually, but it would be wide enough, you could pass a semi on it without getting scared. Yeah, here on my road, I get terrified when that happens. So I've
Yeah.
been excited to see we're really getting serious about our roads. And I'm just worried that some of this infrastructure, we could start having problems because we might not have the tax base we thought we were going to when we had that EV, plant just south of us here in the county. That's been a big concern of mine is we can't lose the momentum that this county had. I know that Radcliffe needs that. Right?
We do. We can use the jobs. Definitely can.
Absolutely. Well, and the other thing is these tariffs that the House have passed a bill on to try to end Trump's tariffs. Of course, it only passed by, I think, 219 to 211. I was looking at the numbers just now. So that's not right now. That's not a veto proof, bill if it goes on ahead and passes the Senate. But let's say if we can, I mean, at least this shows folks that, hey, they're serious because they're hearing the fact that, the bourbon industry here in this state is being crushed. It was on an all-time high. And then this last year with these tariffs, it's come crashing down. Look at our soy, it's just withering out there in the fields because the market's gone. That was China and Canada were our biggest buyers, and they're not buying from us. They're getting it from Argentina and Brazil instead.
Right.
You can go on down the line of, the beef market here is hurting, and we decided to glut it with the Argentinian beef. I guess there's no dictator country that this president doesn't love. So do you think that we can get this relief that Kentucky needs dearly for our farmers and for, our industries like bourbon, tourism, even, tourism's taking a hit.
Right. And I'm truly concerned about all of the initiatives that you just spoke about. And my concern is so that I have, been quiet about it because I've been watching. I really want to understand it from both sides because, like you say, it is so devastating to the farmers, to soybean crops. The bourbon industry, the tourism, it's very disturbing to those. And so how do we fix that? Is it going to help or not help? Like you said, they have already outsourced a lot of things to other countries. So
Yes.
how do we build a bridge back where we can get those resources back in our countries? I always often say it's probably going to take a lot of entrepreneurship, small businesses, grassroots organizations working together, coming together, supporting each other locally, state level, and going into legislation, going to the government, making sure we put sound, solid people in the positions that can talk the language as well as negotiate. Because you got to stand your ground. You got to be firm in this matter because it is affecting so many Americans and so many states, cities, and it definitely is causing a hardship for us in our local Radcliffe, E-Town, West Point, Vine Grove, Raineyville. We're feeling it, especially when it comes to the jobs, the
Yes.
available jobs, the qualifications that you need to get these and maintain these jobs. So the tariffs situation, sure, it's really out of our control. We can discuss it, have an opinion about it, but we need good state senators, good governors communicating with each other, standing up, advocating for us as a whole. That's my
Absolutely.
intelligence about it.
Well, and the other thing that we have to think about is we didn't just put tariffs on Canada. We also threatened them and
Correct.
said they would become the 51st or 52nd state. I can't remember which one was supposed to be the 51st, where that was supposed to be Greenland or Canada. But we did that, from jump, last year. And when I lived in Montana, and when I was in the Navy, I got to visit, Canada quite a few times now. And those are the most polite, sincere, kind people that I know in the English speaking world. Well, I've been to Australia and I had a good time there too. People are also nice, but I mean, just the Canadians really respected us. They treated us with deference as if we were the wiser, older brother, But
Yes.
sadly, when you tell someone you will become a state, you will become part of our country, our empire, or else, we threaten them with military action if necessary. That's just like telling your, if I went to my sibling and said, "Hey, give me your wife now, and I'm going to take your house. Get out."
Right. And,
That my sibling would not like that.
and it's going to cause for resistance. There's going to be resistance. And so, and
Sadly, that resistance for
it's not
Kentucky.
something they wish to do.
Yeah. No. Well, and the Canadians didn't want to do that because they actually loved our Kentucky bourbon. They
Correct.
have their, Crown Royal and Pendleton. They're okay, but they're nothing like our Maker's Mark or, our other great brands we have here, Heaven Hill, you name it. Well, they're Boundary Oak and Radcliffe. I like to sip on that this time of night and relax,
Right.
because that really is quality product made right there in Radcliffe. And if the tourists now, also, it's not just the fact that we said, "Hey, we want you to be a state." Countries are giving their citizens a warning about traveling to the U.S. like we give U.S. citizens if they go to Afghanistan. Like, "Hey, it's dangerous. You shouldn't do it."
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so that it has an effect on our tourism, which is our economy.
And I appreciate the fact or the idea that we were able to choose to travel, to embrace new countries and cultures. I too travel to many countries and other states, being a soldier in the United States Army. And I could not think of anywhere. I've been to Korea twice, Asia. I visited Japan, Germany. I could not think of anywhere that I had visited that I did not enjoy the culture or enjoy my time there, and I would think the same for them because I invited and welcomed people to come to our country, I invite people all the time to come to Kentucky to enjoy
Yes.
Kentucky, the farms, the
Yes.
horses, the
Oh man.
bourbon, all our culture, especially during Derby time,
Yes. Yes.
But like you say, now you got to warn people, be careful where you're traveling.
Yes. That's it. And that's, I mean, just, they don't feel, who wants to come over here and have ICE possibly harass you if you don't look like what they think American should look like. And I'm sure we
They're
can talk to
attacking
that.
Americans. They're attacking Americans on their own soil.
Yeah. Yep. So tourists just don't feel that is safe. And are we going to do that during the Derby season? That's what.
Oh Jesus, that's not.
That's well, I know that the horse industry, in Louisville and in the whole state, they have a lot of immigrants working in that industry.
Right.
And
the equestrian world is large, and most of the jockeys and the great riders are from other nationalities.
Yep. Of course, there was a long African American history of that too, but that's probably you could have a whole discussion on that, the history of that, and how it came and went.
Yep. That's true.
Well, and it's just, could you talk to us more about your military service and how, that's fascinates me. I'm a veteran, combat vet. And so.
Yes. So I joined the Army from Panama City, Florida. I went up to South Carolina. I did basic training at AIT at Fort Jackson. And then I was able to get my first duty station was Fort Stewart, Georgia. Stayed there about maybe 6 years. Married my husband, who's a soldier. He's now retired and worked for the United States Postal Service. But back to my career.
Wait, really?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes. So
does he know Charlie, who's also retired Army, works in the Postal Service and owns Water's Edge?
I really do. I've learned that the postal organization is not very large, and most of them know each other very well, and they're all close knit, and they travel from different post offices to post office in support of them when they're short staffed and things. So he's been around in the postal world, I want to say well over about 12 years. So I'm quite sure he probably do know of a lot of them. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And Charlie, if you know, have you been to Water's Edge Bistro there in
I
Elizabethtown?
have.
Yeah.
When they first opened it up. Mm-hmm.
And I, a great veteran-owned, Black-owned business. Just really good people, good food.
Yes.
And
the wine is excellent.
So what I've been doing this month, I don't know if I didn't get to talk to you about it before the show, but I'm calling this Freedom from Fascism February. So my goal is for me, because I've got an addiction, I realized. My addiction is to fascism. I can't help but buy from the biggest facilitator of our grifter in chief, and that's Jeff Bezos. I love to buy stuff on Amazon. I love to, buy books on Amazon, listen to my music, stream it on Amazon, stream TV through Amazon Prime, listen to books on Audible as I'm driving an hour to work and then an hour home from work every day. But, after he made that movie and helped the first lady grift, was it 25 million more dollars? To me, that man has no soul for what it is that us common folks are going through. It just, if we keep helping, in my opinion, these billionaires and trillionaires grift off of the U.S. government and to helping the grifter in chief, then this thing with ICE isn't going to slow down, and Americans aren't going to feel safe. So if you listen to Scott Galloway, and I'll put his site up here on down the bottom. He's got this site he calls resistandunsubscribe.com. Now, I was calling for a 1 month fast from Amazon. That's what I've been doing. Now it's tough because I use Alexa all the time. I'll be out in the yard, get on my phone, send a message through all the Alexa speakers, telling my niece, hey, get out here and pick up the dog duty or whatever. Instead of me walking the house and do it, I'd just be lazy. To Jeff, I unplugged all those. Because it just means so much to me that we cannot lose our democracy. We can't have folks knocking on people's doors if they say something like's happening right now, to journalists when they say something that displeases the government. And we are violating the First Amendment. We know we violate, the Second Amendment of the gentleman that they shot.
Right.
We just go on down the line of the things we're violating. So I'm hoping that we can actually make a difference. And on his website, he talks about that.
Right. And I have become very aware that most citizens don't fully understand where their products, goods, and services come from. It's more of a convenience nowadays when you're looking for products, your goods, and services. And so,
yes. Did you hear what? I'm not sure if you heard the other night, but I said we are killing ourselves with convenience.
Exactly. Exactly. It
And you
becomes
as a
so.
homeopathic, you know about it. We did it
Mhm,
with Teflon. Now
mhm.
Teflon
We're
is a hole
we're
in our
coming
water and
so
soil.
convenient that we're becoming irrelevant in most
Yes,
cases, you know. And
absolutely.
if they only knew or could understand what purchasing products from certain companies and manufacturers, where the money is really going and what the money is used for, you know.
Well,
I
I
know.
say in this case, it's used to prop up this president. They're not
Mhm,
telling him to stop. They're not pushing back. But the report a few days ago, and I bet it's even more significant now, but just a few days ago, because of this, and that wasn't too far into February. Amazon stocks were down 10%. Now he has to feel that. I know he's a billionaire. It might not be a huge feel, but he's got to feel. Let's see real quick. We got someone online here. Blessed Veteran says, "Don't take this wrong way, because I feel for people who didn't vote for this, but those who did need to feel hurt, or no way will they wake up, just like during the first term." Now I've heard someone else say that, and he says, "Speaking of Amazon, I was a huge fan, but ever since the inauguration, I boycotted Amazon." So, I talked about it, knew I needed to for a long time. Wow. Blessed Veteran, I'm glad to see you did this longer than me.
mhm.
What else did he say? "I have the meeting for M40 now. I will have to watch this later. Thank you for doing this live. I appreciate you, brother." Now, speaking of what he said, so he's been doing it for a year then. Scott Galloway talks about how the Montgomery boycott wasn't just a 1 day deal.
Right,
How many
right.
days was it? You remember?
Um, it was more than, I want to say more than 30
It was more than
Montgomery
300.
Boulevard.
I believe it was more than 300. I think it was more than a year.
Yeah,
Definitely,
yeah,
definitely about a year. Right.
right.
So
Yeah.
the other
Well,
night I was
the,
talking about, that,
so
yeah,
when you think about the Montgomery boycott, so where I think about it is the initiative and how it started out. So the duration of the boycott was over a year because
yeah,
they had got some gains in it, but it started out, much smaller. The days were
yeah,
much shorter, and so that's what I was going to say earlier, like how you said you're just getting started boycotting. He said he boycotted about 30 days. So the small initiatives matter.
yes,
If enough people see enough small initiatives, 1 day, 10 days, 2 days, um, even 30 days, they will be more willing to extend it and make the boycott longer, and more people will get involved, um,
and
to
you,
extend it longer. And that would make a big difference in their value, in their
yes,
profits. And those are the things that get recorded and people see. They don't see the 1 days and the 2 days. Um, and they don't talk about what else you can do in place of those things. That's another thing.
that's it.
You tell
That's
people,
what I'm
don't,
talking about. We buy
mhm,
local.
mhm.
That's
Where?
that network we need. That Scott Galloway's talking about. What you just said is we
Mhm.
need a resistance network. We
Right.
need
And
to
where should we buy? Where should you go to buy to
local
get these
county.
things? Right. When you're local and accounted, what company, what organization, what enterprise, you know, people like convenience. If you can guide them to some ideals or to other places, they would be willing to try. You know, if I stop going
Absolutely.
to Amazon, where can I go?
And that's
You know.
what, so if you would, so you mentioned, we've mentioned some local Hardin County businesses,
Mm-hmm.
um, Boundary Oak. I've
Mm-hmm.
got, let's see, I don't know if you can see it. This is St. George's.
Correct. Yep, I see that.
That's local from Boundary Oak.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you now think of what's the latest place you shopped at in Hardin County that you want to give a shout out to, just so we can
Okay.
say buy local.
Okay, so the latest place that I've shopped at from Hardin County was a young lady, and um, she's running for mayor of Vine Grove, and she's selling a book on finances. And I can't remember the exact name of the finance slogan she's going with, but her name is Selena Hudson. She has an amazing book. I love buying books. I love buying hardback books. I love holding books in my hand, filling the pages, flipping the pages, earmarking them. And she has an excellent book. And so I purchased her book. Times ago, I would spend my days in Barnes and Nobles, sitting in the
Yes.
Starbucks, eating a snack and perusing the books in the bookstore.
And
But I
that's
have,
local.
but I have learned to also shop with some of the vendors who are trying to springboard themselves to be able to get in places like Barnes and Nobles, get in Walmart, you know, get into Target and places like that that we have local in our community. I also I've also have tried finding the products that I would normally get in Louisville. I have started
Yes,
trying to find those same products right here in Radcliffe or Elizabethtown, closer to
absolutely.
home. Um,
Exactly.
and so shout out to Selena Hudson for her book. Shout out to Barnes and Nobles for my me
Let me give
time
a quick
space.
shout out. If you haven't been there yet, have you
Mhm.
seen Bird Whistle Books on
Yes,
Main Street? Yeah, so that's
yes, I have.
Elizabethtown.
Mhm.
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
Okay.
And
So there's
so
there's a lot of other places, and I I haven't been able to really shop as much because I just got a new office. I moved my office from E-Town back to Radcliffe, so I've been spending a lot of long hours in the office. So and again, that's
now is that
why.
where we were tonight?
No, where we were
Okay,
tonight, that's my green screen room. That's my podcast
okay,
room. That's just
yeah,
Ask for Wellness. That's my
that's
world.
awesome. All right.
But I have a nonprofit that's called Shiloh City of Peace Foundation, and we host Guardianship Services of Kentucky, which is a organization that help homeless and help house the homeless, also help advocate for seniors, better medical, case management, therapy, peer support. And we do groups over there. We have groups throughout the day, parenting groups, domestic violence group, um, um, batters interventions groups, sober living substance groups. We also host over there. So I've been spending a lot of time over there getting that back together since we're not operating out of Elizabethtown. So
Well, I
I have
appreciate
not
you
been
doing
able,
that.
thank you. I have
Was
not
your
been,
yeah, your sober groups? Now, my dad was a member. It's 12 step before he passed on. I think I got at his, they held at his AA home. Is it what they call it? A home house? I'm trying to
your
think of the
home.
main. You know, he went to meetings
Yes.
everywhere, and
Hmm.
but I got his either 25 or 30-year coin. He would have
Oh,
gotten it like
awesome.
the day he died.
Awesome.
That's what they
Amen.
gave that. So yeah, I really know that spiritually, my dad became much fuller person once he got in the 12 step.
And
So
that's a
I really
major
appreciate that.
accomplishment for someone. Yes.
Yeah.
So, yes, and we bridge the gaps between a lot of those organizations and the people, and helping them stay mainstream into the different programs. We do celebrate recovery at St. Stephen's Baptist Church right here in Radcliffe, So, and I bounce back and forth from those two places. So I have not been able to shop at too many places, but believe me, I'm going to buy local. That is just me. I buy local.
Well, that's what my papa always said. He was a small town Kentucky doctor.
Mm-hmm.
He often was paid, with his services were just, hey, here's some chickens, doc. Your wife's going to have to pluck them and clean them. But that's how he paid him after a
Right,
house call.
right. Mm-hmm.
And then of course, when he knew people actually had money, he charged full price. But
Right.
he believed in like buying local. He knew he could drive to either Lexington or Louisville and get him a new car that way. But nope, he always would go to a local dealer. Even though it might have, he could have
Yep.
saved a couple pennies by going to the big city, but no, he bought local.
Mhm.
He knew those were his patients, the people that worked there, the people that worked in the auto
Industry,
mechanic
yes.
area too.
So
Like
that's
so
why
those mechanics. Yep,
shout out to Big M Chevrolet, because
that's
we've
right.
been buying for them for many years, and we have a
Yep,
great relationship. So I love my city, and I love supporting my city local. And like you say, most of the citizens are my clients, as well as my neighbors. So I would prefer to support them and watch and help them grow than to go outside of my community and watch other people first flourish and grow. And now, don't get me
yeah.
wrong, I don't mind helping, I don't mind paying it forward no matter where I go, but my heart is helping in my city.
Well, you paid it forward tonight with my wife with that sour sop.
Oh, oh,
So I just
I hope
everybody
she
knows she,
enjoy
I say she is a natural doctor, and my
it.
wife is recovering from breast cancer, and so that, we're gonna. I think she just took her first swig of that sour sop. We'll give you a report back. But
Yes,
I really,
yes, please,
really
please do.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Now I was in Navy medicine for about 20 years, my career in the Navy from 1990 to 2014. My first couple of years were as a deck seaman, but then I was hospital corpsman, independent duty corpsman. So I also, I knew how to prescribe meds and make diagnoses and, give immunizations, take care of emergencies. But also one of the things that they did for us, I don't know if you do this, you can talk to me about it. I learned how to do auricular acupuncture, acupuncture
Yeah.
in the ears and the points in the ears
Hmm.
that help relieve stuff. And I saw a lot of relief. My patients got a lot of help with that
Yeah.
pain, smoking
Hmm.
cessation, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. When I first left the military, when I first retired, um, I went to the acupuncture doctor out in Elizabethtown, and I needed help with activating my liver as well as dealing with migraines. I had been suffering with bad migraines, and I spent some time with him helping me get myself back balanced. So, yes, I know a lot about that. It's not a profession that I hold, but I know the professionals who do hold those certifications, that are very good at what they do. And again, I'm healthy, I'm well, I'm getting a lot better, I'm so much better. And I contribute that to the natural medicines and also acupuncture. I also went to um, a rheumatoid doctor who specializes in massages, therapeutic massages. So
Those are real. Yep,
every year for my
definitely.
birthday, I get a massage and learn new techniques how to help myself outside of those times. And things have been amazing for me. Yes.
Well, that's doctors of osteopathy. I always, if I have a choice between seeing an MD or a DO, I like to go to a doctor of osteopathy because they
Yes.
believe in that move. Yeah. I
Yes.
mean, I don't know if you know this, but out in Eastern Kentucky, over in Pikeville University, they have a school of osteopathy. So you can
Okay.
actually go
Well,
out there and the students during certain times of the year,
mhm.
you can actually get free medicine there because the students will, use you and help, you, and then let that they're learning while the instructors are showing them what to do. So
Okay, good. I'm gonna make sure
pretty
I
good
put
deal.
that information out.
Yeah.
Good knowledge, more
Take a
good
little road
knowledge.
trip out there, and check it out.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, well, I actually, I think I am 13 minutes over what you meant to be on the
Right.
show.
It's okay.
I
I'm
don't mean to bring
enjoying it.
that to you.
Right.
Yeah,
So
me
yeah,
too.
I'm gonna jump
Well,
off and jump right on to theirs.
And let's do this again. And if you could talk to Alyssa and tell her, hey, we're ready to get her in on it next time. Okay.
Yes, I sure will. I'll make sure I do that. Thank you
I
so
appreciate
much.
that.
You're
Well,
so
you have a
welcome.
great evening.
Yes, thank you. Good night.
All right. Good night. And y'all, again, it is that time. I really appreciate you listening. Just vote for both of us, and let's vote up and down the ballot for people who really care. Again, it's freedom from buying balderdash from a balding Jeff Bezos month. Please stick it out with me. Let's do this. We can make a difference. And remember, here in Kentucky, we are our brothers' keepers and our sisters' keepers. We love our neighbors as ourselves because in Kentucky, united we stand, divided we fall. But if we're loving our neighbors as ourselves, we can't be divided and we won't fall. Bless your corazón. Please like, subscribe, and make a comment. Give me 8 words there in the comment section. That helps the algorithm and helps get the word out. Appreciate it, y'all. Good night.
Are you cold? Are you cold? Oh my God.